Good morning, everyone. It's Friday, July 11th, 10 in the morning here. I'm about to go and do some stuff. I just wanted to do a quick conversation about ICE, in particular the big, beautiful bill that passed. And I was, like I always do, I kind of like want to see how things like fully shake out. And I wanted some time to kind of look over the bill and everything. But there's some wild stuff in here. This shouldn't be a surprise to anybody. But today I want to talk about ICE. So ICE, our immigration enforcement agency, generally a relatively small agency compared to others. Traditionally, it was about a fourth the size of the FBI, for example. It also tends to be and I'm sure some people will argue with me on this, it tends to be sort of the least professional in like the standard sense of professional, where you think of something like the FBI or the CIA again. Those tend to be people with graduate or higher level degrees, lawyers, physicians, all that kind of stuff. And ICE doesn't have that requirement. Its training tends to be more focused on getting in, arresting immigrants and then getting out. It's not really designed to be a law enforcement agency the way we think of like the police or, again, the FBI or whatever. But the first thing sort of on this list is the budget for ICE. So in case you weren't aware, like I said, the ICE budget was about 25% of what the FBI's budget is. It's now looking like it's going to be about 4 times what the FBI's budget currently is, which is pretty wild. I mean, it's just, do we even really need something that large? Just think about that for a second. Just stop and think about that. We have created a sort of new law enforcement agency at that point that has this sort of insane budget. Very little of it is going what appears to be. Again, we can kind of look at this bill as it's implemented, but very little of it appears to be going towards judges and other avenues for helping sort of move through like the amnesty system and the refugee system and all of that for our immigration. But the other thing that has me worried is that this agency pretty much seems completely accountable to whatever they want to use it for. It doesn't have nearly the amount of kind of like internal policing, for lack of a better word, that a lot of our other agencies have, where they're like, hey, this is our jurisdiction, this is what we do. And we've seen that, right? We've seen ICE agents just pulling up on the street, grabbing people, putting them in a van, and then taking them away. A lot of these folks are not getting their due diligence, which I did a conversation on a couple months ago. And I mean, this is just beyond worrying. The fact that we're going to have this gigantic law enforcement agency that has almost no accountability to, Congress and to the people. This is exactly what people talk about when they talk about, rogue police states. I would make the argument we're not quite there yet, but we are well on the road, and the road ahead of us seems very clear. And I just don't want to live in that world. Like, I don't want to live in a world where people can just come, grab you off the street, throw you in a van. They aren't required to identify themselves. They're wearing masks. You don't get any due process or due diligence. And it's just, that's a scary world to live in. And I think if you really stop and you think about it, like remove the politics out of it for a second, any professional law enforcement agency should be required at every step of the way to clearly identify themselves. When you are arrested, you need to be, it needs to be clearly articulated what you are being arrested for. And then you need to go through the proper channels. So, Trump said a couple of weeks ago, it's like, well, it would take years for everybody to go through the court system. It's like, yeah, so do it. If you need to get more lawyers, more judges to move through this system, if you need to create a more effective system, then do that. The answer to these problems is not to just ignore the rule of law and just start doing whatever you want. I don't want to live in that world. That's one of the reasons I'm running. I think there's a lot of other people that don't want to live in that world. America is better than this, people. We should be better than this, at least. And so I just think that we're kind of like in an insane space. The other thing that's kind of interesting is that our deportations are down year over year. So this is something that I think a lot of people maybe miss. It's not less dangerous per se, but it's definitely a reality, which is that the Trump administration and the people that they've brought on, we've said this, for 5 months now since the confirmation hearings for a lot of these folks, like, they're incompetent. They do not know what they're doing. So they know how to put on a show. They know how to, go out and use force. But then when they do that, they don't know how to like try any of these things in court. They don't know how to properly remove any of these citizens. Again, I mentioned due diligence, your due process. They don't know how to do that. And so they're grandstanding and doing this show. And the last I checked, we were somewhere around, I think 100,000 deportations this year, which is down. You can correct me on that in the comments if you have a source that's more accurate as of June 11th here. I'm sorry, July 11th. Wow, June's gone. But it's just wild what we're letting happen here. On top of that, we're deporting, or at least having the conversation about deporting American citizens. Like this is just insane, and frankly, it's fucking ridiculous. Like, we are not going to live in this kind of world. I'm going to do everything I can to make sure that we do not live in this kind of world. Yes, the border needs to be safe. Yes, we should be deporting particularly violent criminals, which is another thing. All of the data is clearly showing that the Trump administration is not able to meet this, 12, 15, 20 million person quota that they said, all these illegal aliens, because they don't exist. The numbers were wrong. They were lies. He was lying to us like he always does because he doesn't know what's going on. And in order to reach those quotas, in order to keep the performance going, he's going to have to start arresting American citizens. I mean, he's going to start revoking green cards, start removing folks who are here perfectly legally, who are not doing anything. The violent crime of the people being arrested is extremely low, extremely low. It's like less than, I think, 6% is the number I saw last time. And just the crime rates in general, the vast majority of these people being arrested do not have a criminal record. And so, I mean, what are we supposed to be doing here, right? It's just crazy that we are allowing this kind of thing to happen. There's an article here. I'll post it in the description. But specifically, so 185,000 people booked by ICE into custody from October 2024 to May 2025. So roughly 7 months, right? 7-8 months. Over 75% of those had no criminal convictions beyond potentially, traffic violations. So, like, what are we doing here? And again, many of these people have lived here a long time. Look, you want to have a conversation about creating an effective immigration system and a safe border? Absolutely. But the fact remains is that he's been lying to you this whole time. It's clear as day he's lying to you. The way that they're going about handling things is not the way that an actual intellectually honest, someone who's trying to solve problems interacts. It's someone who's trying to create a show because that's all they've got. Just remember, they don't have anything. This is all just superficial level performance. They're trying to get people scared. They're trying to get people riled up, and we don't have to fall for it. Hey all, editing Chris here. So true to form, as I finish up a video, I found this video from Fox News. So I'm going to go ahead and grab this real quick, throw this on. We're going to listen to it, and then we'll come back.
To this Biden-appointed federal judge out in Los Angeles, apparently expected today to issue a temporary restraining order halting your lawful operations. She says, I think it's important for the court not to burden otherwise lawful law enforcement activities. Your reaction there?
Look, people need to understand, ICE officers and Border Patrol, they don't need probable cause to walk up to somebody, briefly detain them, and question them. They just need this totality of the circumstances, right? They just got through the observation, you know, get articulable facts based on their location, their occupation, their physical appearance, their actions. Like a uniformed border patrolman walks up to them at for instance, a Home Depot. And they got all these articulable facts, plus the person walks away or runs away. You know, agents are trained what they need to detain somebody temporarily and question them. It's not probable cause, it's reasonable suspicions. We're trained on that. Every agent, every 6 months, get Fourth Amendment training over and over again. These officers are really good at what they do. And if the judge would make a decision that's against what these officers are trained, what the law is based upon, then they're going to shut down operation. I think that's your end game. They want ICE to stop doing this, but if they base it on the rule of law, they're going to find out Border Patrol and ICE is doing exactly what they're going to do in accordance with law.
And you're not going to stop coming. Tom Homan, thank you for getting.
All right. So, interestingly, Tom Homan talking about, in essence, ICE being able to grab people of note based on appearance. I don't know what to tell you. Like, this goes back to the due process thing I was talking about before, which is if we're just grabbing people and arresting them for no reason besides their appearance. They said their occupation, like how do you even know what their occupation is pre-arrest? And then the articulable facts, whatever he called that. I mean, we're one shade away from just being able to grab whoever you want for whatever you want, whatever reason. So thought this was an interesting video to watch. For the director of ICE, pretty much saying this is what they're doing. So editing Chris out. I'll see you in the rest of the video. Bye. I am going to do my best to make sure that we are using our law enforcement agencies in an effective and efficient way that isn't trampling on both American liberties and freedoms, but also is treating our immigrants kindly and treating them with human respect and dignity. Like that, I don't think that's too much to ask. You can run them through a legal system without turning this into some immoral process. So that's just my thoughts. Take it for whatever you will. I want to thank you all. Remember, you can follow me at Volpe for America. I've got another video I'm going to do possibly tomorrow. That's going to kind of be a little bit of an interesting one, I think. So anyway, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, everybody.